Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about the very real possibility of Ohio becoming a one-party state in 2023. Why do I say that? Because it's a very good possibility that by the time the last couple races get called for the Ohio State House in the next day or so, we're going to have 68 Republicans in a 99-person General Assembly, which means more than a two-thirds majority, which means more than enough to boot every fucking Democrat out of office if they would so choose. And when we're talking about criminal-ass Democrats like Allison Russo and Casey Weinstein and Jessica Miranda, you're damn right these motherfuckers should be kicked out of our state house and be going to jail for a while and never hold a left office ever again, dude. So I'm going to talk about a few different things here. We're going to take a couple different things from a couple different sources here. Obviously, we got a little bit from Fox 8 News here. They finally called the Christine Rogner, Patricia Getz thing this morning, as of about 15 minutes ago, which was you had Rogner winning with 51.18% of the vote. This race, I don't know, because the thing with the state senate is we have 33 members of our state senate right now. I don't know how they did the redistricting for the state senate map. If you have multiple counties in Rogner's district is what it is, and potentially one of those happens to be a major city. But the thing is, when you start looking at different things, you realize that there is definitely some crazy shit going on here. But yeah, as it stands for this race, you had Rogner getting 72,487 votes. And you have Patricia Getz, who is a known Moms Demand Action member, total anti-gunner, complete psychotic nut, and apparently child psychiatrist, which, why the fuck you'd ever let this person around your children? I don't know why. But apparently people are that insane. Took 69,156 votes. So you're talking about roughly 3,331 vote difference, dude. That is not a lot. What's even more disgusting, actually, looking at some of these races with the vote counts, there's some of them where if I was in the Republicans' seat right now, dude, I would not concede these races. I would demand a recount immediately, dude, because some of these things are only like a couple thousand away from each other, if not like 1,500 to like several hundred votes is what it is, dude, difference. Now, granted, there was multiple people actually from the Ohio State House that again flip-flopped to General Assembly to go to the Ohio State Senate now. One of them was Kent Smith, who won whole-handedly in District 21 for his Senate district with 82.84% of the vote. He got 87,728 votes. Mikhail Alderman, who I'm assuming is a young black male, took 18,171 votes or 17.16% of the vote. Sorry, fucking jackasses are calling me right now. Fucking people don't know what's up, dude. Like I said, Nikki Antonio, the only openly gay woman in our state senate, and apparently the entire General Assembly, which I didn't even know about until the other day. I kind of wondered about it the other day, though, because she was in, like a week or two ago, she was actually up in Cleveland doing some shit there, and looked like she was wearing like a trans pride flag on her shirt or something as like a weird like banner or some shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? And yeah, I'm like, is she gay? And then apparently I guess it's like a known thing or something. And it has been for years, but like I didn't know that, so it's whatever. Yeah, she ended up taking 69.17% of the vote to Landry Simmons Jr.'s 30.83% of the vote. She got 62,000-ish votes on that one. He took just under 28,000. Let's see. Got Mike Skindell in District 13, winning pretty much 75% of the vote is what it was there. This one is one of the ones I would say that if I was in Michael Lamb's spot here, because it was Bride Rose Sweeney that was able to primary out Monique Smith. If I was Lamb right now, I would demand a fucking recount of this race, dude. Bride Rose Sweeney, 55.19% or 27,761 votes. Michael Lamb, 44.81% or 22,541 votes. You're talking about less than roughly about 5,000 votes, 5,200 votes maybe. There's definitely some shenanigans going on in that district, dude, and I could easily see her, doing some shit to get back into office with this dude. So, another one of the ones that I would never concede, Daniel Troy, District 23. George Phillips, who lost this race, who is a Republican, lost by less than 2,000 votes. Troy got 51.36% of the vote, or 25,036 votes. George Phillips took 23,714 votes, or 48.64%. And like I said, dude, when you have legitimate 1,300 votes, give or take, between those two men, maybe not even that many, might be like 1,200 something, honestly, with that one. Like, nah, George, do not concede that race. Demand a fucking recount, dude. If you have to go to Secretary of State Frank LaRosa's office and be like, hey, I demand a recount of this fucking race. Because that's some bullshit right there. And honestly, in the same vein of things, if I was in, and I'm gonna say it right now, dude, if I'm in some of these Democrat spots, dude, I would demand a recount too, honestly. For specifically District 31, Rita Darrow, who's a Democrat, I actually am a fan of Bill Romer. I think he's a good state rep, is what it is, dude. The fact that he only won by 2,300 votes in this race, dude, again, I would be in her spot right now demanding a recount. Because you have Romer winning with 28,455 votes to Darrow, who had 26,142 votes. And then you got, what's another one here that's real close? The Casey Weinstein race, District 34. Weinstein took 53.76% of the vote, which was 27,174 votes. Beth Bigham took 23,373 votes, or 46.24% of the vote. Again, less than 4,000 votes in that race, dude. If I was Bigham right now, dude, I'd be demanding a fucking recount, especially the fact that Casey Weinstein is the motherfucker who committed a hate hoax on himself a month after I was federally swatted in 2019. Yeah, demand a recount against this cocksucker, man. There's no way he won that shit legitimately, dude. There is no fucking way. No fucking way, bro. And another one here, actually, that I would go demanding recounts of. Ohio House, District 53. Joe Miller, 20,832. Marty Gallagher, 19,147. Less than 1,700 votes in that race, dude. Demand a recount, Marty. Seriously. I'm trying to see if there's any other ones here that I want to talk about or not. I actually have vote totals for. No, I guess not. It goes all the way down to because the problem is it doesn't show them all here. It shows like some of the stuff, and then it shows a bunch of stuff for like county commissioner, county executive, all the stuff like that, for various different counties is what it was. Okay, so that was the first one. Another article I want to talk about right now is, where are we at now with this one? Yeah, you had one of the things for the courts here where it was talking about Ohio goes big for Republicans or whatever in the courts, and it was showing every single court race that took place here. And yeah, you had everybody that was part of the shit win. You had Sharon Kennedy become new Chief Justice. You had Pat DeWine win re-election. You had Pat Fisher win re-election. So it was 3-0 sweep for Republicans in our state Supreme Court right now, dude. Which is awesome, especially if we get that 68 majority pretty soon. Because it would basically mean that, hey, it's going to be a kill shot, baby. Going to be a kill shot. So, anyway, going back to where we were at in the New York Times thing for last night. So the problem right now is, again, we have things not being called here. But that being said, we know that Rogner actually won there, and that was the last race to not be called. So Democrats actually lost another state Senate seat last night. That being anti-white racist herself, Tina Maharoth. Who is Tina Maharoth, you may ask? Tina Maharoth is now an ex-state senator, and when I say she's an anti-white racist and BLM sympathizer, I mean just that. Because here's a picture of her being such a BLM fucking simp. This was taken during the 2020 lockdowns. This was off of her professional Facebook page, mind you, the one that she's supposed to be using as a state senator, where she has her little third wave feminist fucking shirt on, doing a power fist and her stupid little fucking mask. I'm surprised that wasn't Hammer and Sickles on that mask, honestly, because she is a total fucking commie. The reason that I say she's an anti-white racist in that, though, is because of the following. This particular thing was taken off of her, again, professional fucking page for being a state senator on Facebook. And it was conveniently wiped by either her or some person of her staff like a day or two after this. For those interested, back in, it was, I believe, June, it was during the fentanyl Floyd riots of 2020. So it was like probably like late May, early June, sometime in there. You had BLM and Antifa doing a bunch of stupid shit down in Columbus, Ohio. They were blocking roads, doing all kinds of terroristic shit, basically, that should have got them arrested for terrorism, is what it was. The cops proceeded to basically let them do whatever the fuck they wanted then. A whole bunch of them ran towards the State House with hammers and clubs and shit like that, started busting in the State House windows, and that's where the following takes place at here, this particular post by Tina Maharoth, that said, and I quote, this was from that Wednesday after the Saturday, the house windows were all busted open, and you had like, I forget how much it was. I've heard differing numbers of money. I believe it was at least $700,000 it took to replace all that shit, but it might have been millions actually, because there was definitely some other graffiti and stuff that happened in the chambers for the state Supreme Court and stuff like that, where they had a whole bunch of people graffiti that stuff. And I know that took like a couple million. I think that took a couple like 100,000 more to clean up. So I think it might have been the millions is what it was. But yeah, this stupid bitch had the audacity to say, quote, "They didn't board up my office when white supremacists were at the State House with their rifles protesting Dr. Acton's orders." By the way, she's referring to Dr. Amy Acton, the fucking cunt who shut down Ohio and became de facto governor from March to May of 2020. Continuing though, didn't board up my office when white supremacists were at the State House with their rifles protesting Dr. Acton's orders. Meaning, who she's calling white supremacist? She's calling all the anti-lockdown people, aka the medical freedom folks, only 2 or 3 of which actually showed up armed, by the way. I like to point that one out. Almost every single one of these people was unarmed except for like 2 or 3 dudes that showed up randomly. And I don't even believe that they were part of the original group is what it was. They were on their own little fucking side mission, basically, is what it was, dude. But to sit there and falsely claim those people white supremacists is absolute bullshit entirely, dude. And that in of itself should have seen her ass get sued for defamation, dude. Then has the audacity to continue on in this and claim, but when black people protest, aka riot, meaning BLM and Antifa rioted and broke up the fucking State House windows, my windows get boarded up and the State House is full of armed patrols. White privilege is real. Let's wrap your minds around this. You're scared of a black person yelling, but not of a white person yelling with a gun. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. And people wonder why I hate this fucking cunt's guts, dude. That's why, right there. Perfect example of why, dude. I am so fucking glad, dude, that Reynolds beat her ass last night in that race. And I am so thankful that the good people of that district, which is most likely parts of Columbus and the outskirts of the fucking city to the rural suburban areas is what it is, dude. Thank you for ousting this fucking anti-white racist cunt from our State House once and for all, dude. And she needs to become politically irrelevant in the state ever fucking again, dude. This shit right here should have seen Tina Maharoth booted the fuck out of office back in 2020. The fact that the Ohio State Senate, the fact that people like Kirk Schuring, who is the House majority, or sorry, the Senate majority leader, literally fucking third in command under only Senate President Hoffman and one other dude. It's like, come on, man. You had the you guys have the votes there to boot her ass out of office right now if you wanted to, honestly. You could toss her out any minute now. You could throw her ass out even before the end of the year, for that matter, before her term's up, dude. You have the fucking 25 right now, dude. But you're choosing not to toss her out of office, dude. I don't understand why. I really don't. When you have Tina Maharoth being legitimately all about identity politics. That was her entire campaign, by the way, when she ran in 2018, dude, was, I would be the first Laotian to get into the Ohio State House. By the way, for those who don't know what Laotian is, there's a country called Laos. It's by Vietnam. Apparently, what happened was you had Tina Maharoth's parents. It was, well, no, sorry, not parents. I believe it was grandmother is what it was. During the Vietnam War, which obviously people call it conflicts, other people call it war. I consider it to be a war. It was obviously false narratives that got us into it, but that's besides the point. Her family, like I said, most likely a grandmother or something like that, I believe is what it was to her, got out of Laos right before Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge went on a killing spree in that country, immigrated to America, migrated to Ohio after the immigration here. Tina was eventually born in the state of Ohio, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this is what you get from a generation or two after people who actually give a shit about being free in a country, dude. You get a fucking communist cunt as your child or grandchild, dude. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about right there, dude. Like, Tina is a sack of shit, dude. And I am so fucking thankful that her anti-white racist ass is going to be gone by the end of this fucking year, dude. I'm literally going to count down the days now until the end of the year, dude, because that's how many days she has left in office right now. And honestly, what's even greater is, it's going to be less than that even, because technically whenever the Ohio General Assembly leaves office right before Christmas of this year, that's pretty much going to be Tina's last day in office, dude, because they don't come back until the new year when it comes to the General Assembly then, and Tina's going to be gone then. So yeah, it's going to be fucking fantastic, dude. So by Christmas, this bitch is gone, period. So yeah, I'm super happy about it. Super, super happy about it, dude. Because she is a raging cunt, dude. She is a raging cunt, dude. And then I actually do want to talk about some other stuff. I went on a little Twitter spree this morning. Did some kill shots on some people. Took my shot, did what I needed to do there. Basically took some snipes at some people. Specifically called out Tim Ryan and Nan Whaley both in the same exact tweet. Specifically directing it at them. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now for half a second here before we get back to other stuff we're going to talk about right now, which is going to be the races here in Ohio. So first and foremost, we had things that were basically put into my feed by Whaley and Tim Ryan, which I don't understand why Twitter does that. It's like, just because I respond to these jackasses doesn't mean I want to follow them. This is basically yesterday. You had Whaley claim, polls are open for 2 more hours. Be a voter and cast your ballot to flip Ohio. And you had idiot Tim Ryan claiming, we're going to win this race. We're going to flip Ohio blue. We're going to expand the Democrat Senate majority. And my response to them was, after all this, I said, congratulations to Nan Whaley and Tim Ryan for proving once and for all that Ohio is a pro-life, pro-2A, red state that hates oath-breaking extremist assholes like you two. Sometimes you just gotta have some fun, man. Sometimes you just gotta call them out on it, bro. Because they really are, honestly. They really are. They really are oath-breaking assholes, dude. Many, many, many times over. both of them should have never been in this race based on the fact they're both anti-gunners and have basically run on a platform as such. And thank Jesus that you had DeWine and Vance respectively beat both of them in those races, dude. And I believe truthfully, honestly, I think honestly had the writing candidates, because there was 4 of them. I think had they actually had their names on the ballot legitimately and not just been considered to be a write-in, I'm not so sure DeWine would have won, and I guarantee Nan Whaley would have never won. And I think both of them would have had a lot of their votes actually stripped away by third parties, basically, is what it would have been, dude. So, anyway. Here's another tweet that I had with some chick this morning, actually. This girl is apparently some Ohio voter in one of our major cities, I'm guessing. And what seems like a real stupid cunt, honestly. Claiming, every woman in Ohio should be voting today. Even if you don't agree with abortion, Mike DeWine, and no man should ever have the right to make that choice for you. It's weird, shaking my head. And my response to her was, and no woman should have the right to get away with murdering a child. There's a reason why life is the first part of the U.S. Constitution. School yourself and read it. Yeah, these people are some dumbasses, dude, for real. And you got to think, this is the average voter in Ohio, dude, in major cities. Was that Sincerely Jazz girl? Or Jess, Jas? Yeah, just a fucking dumbass, dude, is what it is. And that's the problem right now. But there's a solution to that, and we're going to get to that right now, actually, which is the different races here. So obviously, like I said, you now have our state Senate being an even larger supermajority Republican, because it used to be 25-8. Now it is 26-7. With the people being in there now for the new reps would be, I should say for the Democrats now, we got Catherine Ingram, who's flipping from our state Senate, or flipping from our state House to our state Senate. Paula Hicks Hudson, who's doing the same thing. You got Herschel Craig that won re-election. You have Kent Smith that flipped the state House to the state Senate. Nikki Antonio won re-election. DeMora is the new one for the Democrats. And that is it, actually. So you got those 6, and then I'm trying to think who was not up for re-election actually this year. I know there was one. Yeah, I can't remember who the other one was, but it was one of the people who wasn't up for re-election until I believe it is 2024. So they were basically safe from this election cycle is what it was, because I think they probably would have lost too, honestly, at that point. And then going to our state house right now, this is what has been called, and this is actually the races that have not been called. So we got 30 for the Democrats, 64 for Republicans. And what's interesting is there's only 99 seats in our state house. So there should only be 5 races here, but there's 6. So one of these races has been called already. I'm not sure which one it is, though. One thing that's interesting is, though, this person that was running against Representative Brown, who was a Democrat, this Beach dude, I think it's a guy. I'm pretty sure it's a dude. I don't think it's a chick. I'm pretty sure it's a guy. Was beating them by 0.2% of the vote. They were 50.1% to 49.9%. And I'd be willing to bet that that race is not going to be called till at least sometime later today, if not tomorrow, honestly. Like, I would be shocked if that's called before that, man. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We had Daniel Troy getting in there. So he'd be 31 then for the Democrats then. Okay, so that race was called then. So it's 31-64. So we got 95 right there. Yeah, 95. Okay, so that Troy race is called already. So he won that. Okay, so we got 95 there. So you would have 4 of these that would already have been, yeah, you should only have 4 of these then for the Republicans then. So you got 31-64 right now for that whole thing. And like I said, one of these is already called. So potentially you got that Beach one being maybe one, maybe not. Then we had Andrea White, who was winning 51% to 49%. That was in District 36. You had Williams, who was a new person, who was going up against Larson, who was 52 to 48%. And I don't know if that was already called or not. That might have been the one that was already called. That might have been the 64 that made it 64 instead of 63. So I could potentially go with that, actually, as that one, and just say the rest of these are, pretty close to whatever here. And if that was the one that was already called, then that's a good deal, because it means all the incumbents will probably get their seats back, is what it is then. which there's 2 on here. Oh, no, sorry. It would have been Gail Pavlija was called already. So that's the one I was thinking of right now. Okay, so she would be 64. So her race was called. So we got, let me figure this out now. What are the outstanding races right now? So we got 1, 2, 3, and then that one between Beach and Brown was 4 then. Okay. So we're at 64-31 right now. If Beach wins, that takes us to 65. Even if he doesn't win, that's still 64-32 right now. The fact that Andrea White was up by 2% and an incumbent, that makes 65. Then you have Williams versus Larson, where Williams was winning by 4% of the vote. That takes us to the 66 2/3 majority. And then finally, we have Santucci at 51% to 49% for Peterson. We now have 67 people in the state house. I was thinking it was going to be 68, but I guess I was off by 1 is what it was, because I didn't realize some of these races were already called at this point. So yeah. So potentially you have, wait, did I say 67? Or was it, what did we say? Oh, no, because Beach will be 68 then. Okay. So Democrats, if Brown wins re-election, you would have Democrats at 32. You would have Republicans at 67 at that point. If Brown somehow loses to Beach in that race, that's going to be like literally most likely a recount vote, because I think actually if there's anything under like 500 votes or whatever in Ohio, or maybe even 1,000 votes or something, like automatic triggers an automatic recount is what it is. So that could be a recount, honestly, of itself. However, that being said, you would still have the 67 supermajority, dude. Take the shot, Stolafis. You and I talked, bro. You and I have talked. You told me. You said there were Republicans that weren't getting on board with the impeachments of Brenner and the 2 Democrats on the state Supreme Court. You guys have the supermajority in the new year. Take it. Take it and run with the fucking ball, buddy. Impeach their asses and then go down the fucking row, starting with Allison Russo and Casey Weinstein, and wipe the fucking Democrat Party out of our state house entirely. Shoot the shot. Take the kill shot. Do what's best for Ohio. Make us a better state, dude. Start having investigations open in these pieces of shit. Do what needs to be done. As my state rep, as somebody who I voted for yesterday. Do your job, bro. Get everybody on board. I don't care if it's going to be Derek Marin or somebody else that's going to be the new Speaker of the House, man. Get into their fucking ear. Have them do their speakership role in 2023 and start impeaching Democrats across the board. I don't care if you guys get anything done for the next 2 years in the state house, dude, after this. If it means that you have every criminal Democrat in our state house in fucking prison by the time this shit is said and done, that's all that matters. I could give a fuck less if any legislation at all gets passed in the next 2 years under DeWine or under the state Republicans supermajority, dude. As long as Democrats finally face the fucking prison time reckoning that they have had coming for the past 3 fucking years now, almost 4 years now, for the bullshit, unconstitutional deprivation of rights garbage that they have pulled in our state house since 2019, 3-Dayton Massacre, when they pushed through Bloomberg legislation for red flag laws, universal background checks, magazine bans, etc., etc., etc. Kick them the fuck out, man. And if it means busting the fucking doors wide open to Allison Russo's connections to Moms Demand Action, where she's taking bribes from their asses at our state house a year and a half ago, crack the fucking egg, man. If it means cutting that bitch a deal, which I hate to see that if that be the case, because I fucking hate Allison Russo with a passion, dude. I cannot stand that fucking cunt. She should be the one going to prison for the next decade or 2 of her life, honestly, at this point. Because she is the biggest fucking provocator of all this shit, and she was the entire piece of crap fucking rep this entire time, that was a person on every piece of legislation that was submitted and resubmitted over and over and over again, she needs to be the one going down for shit. The same thing with Casey Weinstein. I know for a fact there are other Democrats there that are just as fucking bad as they are, dude. And there are some that maybe aren't as bad, but know enough to where if you wanted to cut them a deal, one or two of them, dude, to take down the rest, okay, cool, do it. But make sure that these fuckers finally go down for the criminality they've been committing in our state house for the past 3 years, dude. Because I am sick and tired of it, man. And I believe so many Americans in this state are too as well. There are so many Ohioans who have finally woken up to the criminality of Ohio's General Assembly, dude. You all need to do what needs to be done. You oust them, and then when they're gone, you can replace them with other good people, actual constitutionalists. I'm down for an appointment if y'all want to fucking put me in there, dude, because I could easily take a fucking House seat at this point. I would be perfectly comfortable then with ousting some of the fucking Republicans in there, man. Because there are definitely scumbags still in there. They need to be gone too. And I'm talking about people like Bill Seitz. I'm talking about all these old guard motherfuckers that have been flip-flopping our General Assembly like Scott Ollinger for fucking 25, 30 years now, dude. Same thing with Kirk Shearing for that matter. That dude has been in our state house and our state senate since the 90s. Since I was a little child, dude. There is no reason for that. These old dudes have a fuck ton of crimes on their records already, man. And they need to be gone along with the fucking Dems, bro. There needs to be a reckoning in Ohio's General Assembly in 2023. And it starts by having the supermajority of at least 67 at this point. Technically, we only need 66, but we potentially would have 67 anyway. Maybe 68, depending if Beach actually breeds Brown or not. The entire point is, though, it's time to lockstep and start removing motherfuckers, dude. And appointing new people then. And getting good folks back into office. And making Ohio a less corrupt state at the end of the day. And if it takes working with the devil you know to take out the devil themselves, being the Democrat Party, then that's what it means. Because these people have, like seriously, bro, you guys know my autistic ass is autistic. You can weaponize autism. I have literally created since 2019 an ongoing list for the past 3 years now of every single crime that every single Democrat in the Ohio General Assembly has committed with legislation that they have introduced or submitted. Whether it be deprivation of rights under color of law, whether it be just straight up oath breaking, whether it be some other misdemeanor type of crime, whether it be actual fucking felonies. Use the stuff. Get to me. Call me up, dude. I'll give you the fucking shit. I'll hand you a flash drive with everything on it. As long as it leads to their arrests. I want my state back. I want to know that Ohio is not a corrupt fucking shitty ass state anymore, man. And I believe many other Ohioans do as well. And if that means taking people down on both sides of the fucking chambers, that's what it means. If it means having ongoing impeachments all fucking General Assembly, good. Do it. And then have us be a decent place after that in 2025. This is the entire point, is this is the time that Ohio finally has to do a reckoning to get rid of the corruption in our state house has been plaguing it forever. And we finally deal with the criminality once and for all. And honestly, if that be the case, whether it be Reggie Stolfist, whether it be any of the other people in there, dude, if you guys are actually not corrupt as fuck, you will do what needs to be done to get this done. Or you'll just sit there and fuck off again. You know, it's all your choice at this point, man. It really is. But that's what I'm saying. When we have the numbers now to finally get it done, it's time to get it done. Shoot the shot. Kill the king. Impeach the Democrats from the state Supreme Court and then go down the fucking line into the state house and into the state Senate. Wipe them all out. Put them all in prison where they belong. For the many, many crimes they've committed at this point. Because we all know, even going back to Larry Householder's shit, there are many Democrats that are still in our state house right now, dude. Whether it be Catherine Ingram, who's just now flipping to the state Senate, that was part of that shit, or whether it be Paula Higgs Hudson or anybody else for that matter, dude. There were several of those people that were all lockstep voting for Householder to become a speaker back in the day, and they were all directly involved in that bribery scandal. And I would even go as far as to say, hey, we all know that DeWine and Husted were involved too, bro. Take their asses down too. If Hoffman is not a corrupt piece of shit like the others are, dude, have him become governor next year. Or 2024 or whatever the fuck. You know, if it takes a year and a half of, you know, fucking doing all this other stuff, and then finally it's like, okay, fine, we're going to DeWine now and shit too as well. Cool, do it. Get it done. This is what we need to be doing right now. We need to have a clean slate in Ohio. You need to finally do what needs to be done for the betterment of future election cycles, so that you can prove to the voters once and for all that we are not a corrupt state anymore, that we are not going to put up with corruption anymore, that we are going to be about actual law and order. If you're doing corrupt shit, if you're doing criminal shit in our state house, you're done, bro. If you're part of our General Assembly and you're doing stuff on either side, whether it be the state house or the state Senate, you're gone. You're in jail. You're fucking voted out householder style, dude. And you're facing fucking charges. And it would be as simple as that. And it's all I'm going to say about the end of the day. You know? You potentially have the numbers right now. Use them in 2023. Use them in the next Ohio General Assembly. Start getting things done. Lockstep. Do what the Democrats always try to do to you. Lockstep against them. Create a fucking wall. Block them at every fucking turn. Force them the fuck out. And it's as simple as that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all on the next one.